Pokemon you're glad don't exist. Gengar is one of the most loved Pokemon in the franchise, but if it was real, you might not feel the same. Gengar loves hiding in people's shadows just to mess with them and laugh at their fright. Not only that, but this Pokemon loves to curse people. This Pokemon is said to pay visits to children that are naughty. This can be interpreted as wrong on so many levels. Consider yourself lucky if you're only being laughed at by Gengar while he scares the living shit out of you, because this Pokemon can lurk undetected in shadows waiting for his chance to steal your life. Even your home isn't safe. Gengar will lurk in whatever dark corner of the room and wait for its chance to catch its prey. You're the prey. It's said that if you should feel a sudden attack of chills, it's evidence of a Gengar approaching. There's no escaping it, just give up. That's reassuring. Meet Drifloon, a cute little balloon Pokemon, right? Wrong! Known as the signpost of wandering spirits, this Pokemon lures in little children, that's right, little children, to play with it so it can drag them into the afterlife. It literally grabs the hands of little children to carry them off and steal their souls. Except for fat kids. It dislikes fat kids. Imagine having to tell your kids they can't go play at the park because of Drifloon.
Millions have seen it. If you haven't, check it out. Oh, whoa.
This Pokemon is stuffed with souls and expands each time it consumes another one. This confirms that this Pokemon is snatching little kids.
Why don't you take a seat right over there? Who are you? You tell me first. You're Jeff, right? Yeah. And what did you expect to happen next time, Jeff?
If this Pokemon were to pop, it'll let off a horrible, loud, screaming sound. Did I mention they don't like fat kids? This is Frostlass. The Pokedex states that after a woman met her end on a snowy mountain, bearing a grudge and regrets, her pain lingered on as her soul possessed an icicle to bring birth to this Pokemon. Now this Pokemon wanders the cold lands, freezing hikers who have come to climb snowy mountains and carries them back to its home. It only goes after men it thinks are handsome. I'd be safe at least. When Frostlass finds a human or Pokemon it likes, it freezes them with negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit and takes them to its den where they become decorations. That is just fucked up. It's said that on nights of terrible blizzards, it comes down to human settlements. If you hear a knocking at your door, don't open it! This Pokemon sounds like something straight out of a fucking horror movie. Gothorita is one of the worst Pokemon to exist. Not just because it's a furry magnet. Gothorita is known as the Witch of Punishment and is said to spirit children away when they're sleeping. The kid's not asleep? Not a problem for this Pokemon because it will apparently hypnotize the children to sleep and then carry them away.
Little children, I'll take thee away.
It also creates its own friends by controlling those sleeping children. Your kids will either get spirited away or forced to play with this Pokemon until it gets bored of them and throws it away like an old toy. Either way, Gothorita is a creeper. It uses hypnosis to control Pokemon and people, so this thing won't stop at just messing with kids and other Pokemon. It'll get you too. You've seen this used tampon in the Sword and Shield series and may think there's no way this Pokemon will pose a threat in real life. Period. Pun intended. Well, this walking Tampax is known as the Witch of the Forest and uses its psychic powers to cause headaches as a deterrent to the approach of others. This thing causes headaches to keep people and Pokemon away. I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound that bad. Wrong! Don't you dare complain about that damn headache, because if you're too loud around it, it'll tear you apart using its claws on its penis head. I mean tentacles. Seriously though, was this thing designed after a tampon or a used condom? Anyway, Hatterene will blast you, slash you, cut a new hole in your ass, and watch the blood scatter past you if you enter its territory. So if you enter a forest with no signs of life, move the fuck on, because more than likely you enter that part of the forest and it's always that time of the month for this Pokemon. This is Gourgeist, the pumpkin Pokemon, obviously. This Pokemon comes in 4 different sizes and each of them is terrifying. The average size wanders town streets emanating eerie cries, which are said to be the wails of spirits who are suffering in the afterlife from its body in the dead of the night, cursing anyone who happens to hear them. So you could be enjoying your day and hear this Pokemon and now you're cursed for life. They also come knocking at your door, and if you answer, it'll drag you away to the afterlife, singing joyfully as its prey suffers. Small Gourgeists pretend to be children children to trick adults, while large Gorgeist disguise themselves as adults to trick children to, of course, carry them to the hereafter. That's afterlife. But the supersized Gorgeist don't give a fuck. They'll take anyone in their path to torture them while they sing their happy song. Gliscor is one of my favorite Pokemon and one of my favorite shinies. Even though I love this big bad, I would be terrified if it was a real life creature. Gliscor can glide through the sky soundlessly, making it nearly impossible to be detected by its prey. Bro can glide across the entire world with just the slightest breeze without ever having to flap its wings. So that means this huge blood-sucking monster would populate every part of the world. It also loves to hang out in trees, waiting patiently to swoop in on unexpected victims. And when Gliscor swoops in for an attack, it can land an instant fatal blow. If it wants to kill you, that is. Because this Pokemon loves to snatch up its prey using its tail and then sinks its fangs into their throats. It takes a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. Gliscor not only loves blood, but it loves to satisfy its need for violence and brutality. Mimikyu is the only Pokemon that conceals its terrifying appearance by portraying itself as a Pikachu so it can get closer to people and other Pokemon. But don't ever, and I mean ever, mention that it's just pretending to be a Pikachu, because this Pokemon will hold a grudge for the rest of its life. It holds a grudge towards the enemy that attacked it, making the neck of its disguise break. Forgiveness is not in Mimikyu's nature. If you were to try to peek under its disguise, it would become extremely agitated and extremely violent. Though the actual appearance of Mimikyu is unknown, there have been several recorded incidents that we know of, such as a scholar who saw under the rag and was overcome with terror, dying from shock, a scientist who was studying Mimikyu and died from a mysterious disease, and a poor trainer who just happened to be passing by and caught a glimpse of Mimikyu under the rag when a gust of wind blew the disguise, resulting in that trainer dying a painful death that same night. So we can potentially die on any given windy day if a Mimikyu happens to be around. You may be familiar with Dusclops, but besides the fact that it's another ghost Pokemon, its dex entries are pretty damn disturbing. Dusclops' body under the bandages is said to be hollow with only a spectral ball of fire burning inside. But that hasn't been proven, since anyone who dares to peek inside will be absorbed into its body, never to return. It's said that its body is like a black hole. The Dusclops can absorb anything, no matter how large the object may be. It may even be capable of absorbing entire cities into its void. Not only that, but Dusclops can hypnotize you into doing its evil bidding. That's a pretty damn terrifying thought. Not only considering what this ghostly Pokemon will have you do under its control, but crazy ass people using it as a tool for their own sick pleasures. Banette was formed from an old discarded plushie into a Pokemon by pure hatred. And this story of a puppet coming to life doesn't always have a happy ending. Because of the hatred, resentment, and grudge that it bears of being tossed aside, this Pokemon actively hunts little children in hopes of finding the one that threw it away. Banette is filled with cursed energy that is held back by the zipper on its mouth. The dex entry of its mega form proves how powerful this cursing energy really is by stating, all the energy once held back by the zipper comes flooding out, and Banette can't help but to curse everyone around, including its own trainer. It's said that treating it with kindness will satisfy it, and it will once more become a stuffed toy. Every Banette that would be caught by a trainer would be a child saved. But being that kids get bored of their old toys pretty quick, I'm certain the fate of most children would end in Banette exacting its revenge. And that's why these are just some of